Hello, this is Reverend Dore teaching religious science, which is the teaching of the science of mind, from a beautiful, bright, sunny Sarasota where temperature is about 81. Now, I know the rest of the country is really buried in snow, at least most of the rest of the country, and so please get out of there right after Christmas and come on down here and bring a little money with you when you come, won't you? Today we want to talk about chopping wood and carrying water. When people first put their toe in the waters of New Thought, which is a broad range of philosophy of which science of mind is a part, and the spiritually based life, it can be very heady. It can be quite an experience because you begin to see possibilities you never dreamed of when you lived only in the material world and you thought that's all there was. You see, you're only living in a small part of the entire universe when you live in the material world and you ignore everything else. Your entire worldview expands and you begin to feel your power, perhaps for the first time in your life. Sometimes the new metaphysician can forget that while grazing in the fields of enlightenment and exploring an expanded consciousness, that one still has to pay the rent, the bills, and earn a living. In Eastern philosophy, this is called chopping wood and carrying water. Even the Zen master must do his daily chores and provide for his physical needs. It is easy to fall into the mental and spiritual trap of magical thinking. New Thought and science of mind is not magic, miracles, hoodoo, or hokum. It is a system of mental and spiritual science applied to daily living. Very down to earth, actually. Yes, you should change your thinking and change your speaking and enlarge your sphere of availability to allow yourself to see and believe ever greater healing and creation. Now that means when you enlarge your sphere of availability that you feel worthy to get more and more good where before you would shove it away from you subconsciously. Though you may be an expert in mental creation, can you demonstrate, as we say, in religious science? Can you get the fabulous wealth you created in mind into your bank account where it might be used to do some good in this material plane? Money and thought you can't spend to pay the rent. Yes, you healed your cancer in mind. You saw it healed, which must be done before the healing can come into form in your life. But it only matters if the body is healed, the cancer is removed, and it's gone for good. A religious scientist is known by his or her demonstrations, not by their teaching, preaching, or their enlightened thought. It is good to spend time designing the house and then creating it in mind with affirmative prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment. But at some point you must be able to turn the key in the lock of your new house and walk through the front door and move the furniture in. Many practitioners of science of mind, and I mean practitioners in the sense of people who practice science of mind as their philosophy and religion, unity and other allied New Thought teachings, spend their lives on construction and never occupy what they construct. Neville Goddard, the great American mystic, characterized this as constant construction and delayed occupancy. You could say you circle the field, but you never land the plane. Did not the master teacher tell us that a tree is known by its fruit? Well, where's the fruit? So then are those who follow the path of mental and spiritual science known by what they demonstrate in their own lives. One can't teach prosperity with an overdrawn checking account. The science of mind in particular is very down to earth and very practical with very little that is airy-fairy or arcane. It's a very common sense faith and philosophy, particularly suited to people who think. Here are the basics. There is a divine mind, a creator, a divine intelligence that is the driving force behind all creation, and we usually call this divine mind God for lack of a better name. This intelligence, this ground of being, is the essence of love because it creates out of itself. It literally gives of itself to bring the universe and you and I and everything else into being. This universe is ruled and governed by divine law, both material and spiritual. It's not ruled by the whim or caprice of a superhuman who throws a temper tantrum or gives you a hug. In order to bring thought to form, we have been given laws, both physical and spiritual. These laws never change. They're immutable. They can be depended upon. They always work, unless there is what my wife calls operator error, meaning that you questioned the process, your belief in your own word was weak, or you didn't follow the established principle of how to create things. A good example of law would be gravity in the physical realm. We know that it always works because each morning when you put your feet on the floor, you have the absolute certainty that you will not float up to the ceiling of your bedroom. A good thing too, isn't it? In the spiritual realm of life, the law of cause and effect would be a good example. The Bible calls it sowing and reaping. It's really the same thing. Every effect that we experience, see, and sometimes suffer has a cause. There's a cause for everything. Nothing just happens. To get rid of the effect, you must go to the cause and fix it. An example might be if you hit a baseball in the front yard and it breaks your neighbor's window. The cause was the bat striking the ball. The effect was the broken window and the bill you had to pay to fix it. To fix this problem, don't get upset at your neighbor or, just stop hitting the ball near your neighbor's house. That's getting to cause, isn't it? Another example would be cancer. And more medical scientists are concluding that cancer is simply the body turning against itself. It is not an invasion of some virus or outside agency. What causes this to happen? There's a debate on this, but I tell you my idea has always been that cancer mirrors in the body what our major issues are in our mind or our heart. Many young physicians today trained in mind-body medicine are coming to the same conclusion. For instance, a little story from my own life. Since I can't talk about anybody else's in public here, I'll use my own. I'm a survivor of prostate cancer. It's okay, I'm perfectly fine, but it was a very interesting and deepening experience. One of the things I had to do to assist in my own healing was to trace the thread of the cause back like unraveling a sweater until I finally had the aha that prostate cancer is about having issues with the opposite sex or with one's sexuality. I'm a pretty dedicated heterosexual, and I'm quite peaceful with that, but I have been married way too many times to reveal in this post, so perhaps I have issues with women, you think? You would think that would have been obvious, but no. We always gloss over these little flaws in our character, don't we? Well, where do you suppose a man would outpicture this problem with his sexuality or with women or men if you're of the other persuasion? Yes, in the prostate or in that general area, because that pretty much is the seat of your sexuality, that and the testes. Perhaps breast cancer may be the mirror for women. We shall know before too many decades pass, I am sure, and when we do, cancer will become a thing of the past because instead of treating the symptoms, we'll learn to treat the cause. And when you treat the cause, the symptoms, which are the effects, disappear by themselves. You can see that every effect that shows up in our lives is merely a mirror of the cause which lies in our mind or our spirit. Every problem in the universe has a spiritual solution, and when we finally embrace this idea, we will literally transform the human experience. In the meantime, chop wood and carry water, for you must first treat and move your feet, as we say in religious science. What that means is treatment is affirmative prayer, so pray and then get to work is what we mean by this. Remember, you are the expression of God within you. All your works are done using the power of God, but by means of your head, hands, and heart. The holiest of men or a man or woman still has to eat, procure shelter, and be clothed at the bare minimum. There is no magic at work here. We are using spiritual principle and mental science to create the life we deserve and desire. So pick up that axe and carry that water, all the while keeping your mind on the prize, the desire, and the vision for your life. You know, you are magnificent. You are just as you're supposed to be. Be happy and full of joy this holiday season. And for those who celebrate it, Merry Christmas. May God bless and keep you, and may you always listen to the voice of God within you. It'll never steer you wrong. Until we are together again, bye-bye for now. It's Reverend Dore saying so long.